If you're thinking about owning your own business and have been considering acquiring an existing business, then this is for you. This is Brian Stevens with Legacy Venture Group. I'm at the website BuyBizUSA, and this is our series called Thinking Outside the Boss. And today we're going to talk about the power of building the right team of advisors. Look, we always tell people, if you're thinking about going into business for yourself, why not start up, meaning making money right away versus having to start from scratch and or buying a franchise and starting that from scratch too. Those are both really great, viable ways of getting into business. But we say, hey, if you feel like you're too old to move in with mom and dad again, or if your best friend's couch is too small for you, your spouse, your 2.3 kids, and the dog, then acquiring an existing business might be the best way for you to go. So we're going to talk a lot about getting the right team of advisors to help you. I work with the Business Transition Council in Tampa Bay, and it's a great group of individuals that specialize in helping people make the right decisions to buy and or sell, and I encourage you to check it out. I'm also part of the Business Brokers of Florida, and on that website, if you're looking for a business at least in the Florida area, you can find advisors, accountants, and attorneys, and all kinds of great people that are under the affiliate section. But we'll talk a little bit more about how we can connect you up with the right people. But for this moment, I want you to think about getting the right team of advisors so that you can do the right thing and make the right opportunity decision to help you out. Look, we've talked and spoken to over the years many people who moved into a situation of acquiring a business. Maybe they had escaped having to pay attorneys or advisors or anything like that, and they find themselves in the midst of something they didn't think was going to happen. The business isn't quite what they thought it was going to be. They're started in a situation where it looked good at first and then it crumbled away. And so we really advise you, invest the time, invest some money, and work with individuals that understand the process to get you going. Like you might find a business for sale, you meet a broker, or you meet a business owner, and all of a sudden you find yourself under contract and you've got all these contingencies, and now you're thinking, wow, I need to go find some people to help me out. Stop. Start finding those people right now as you're beginning to think through the process so they are right at your beck and call when you need them. Here's one other thing, and I'm thinking about when people make an offer for a contract for a business, you usually do things like where you schedule some time for due diligence. Make sure that you know that your advisors are going to be available during the time you need to. Maybe they're off on a big long vacation in the island of Tahiti for a month, or maybe your accountant is deep in the middle of tax season, such as what goes on between February, March, and April. So make sure you know when they're available as well as who is available. Here are some of the people that we're going to talk to you about regarding this process. This is not the end of the all people you can deal with, but these are all important people for you all to get involved. So you can see we're going to talk about an attorney for you. We're going to talk about an accountant. We're going to talk about a business broker, a lease specialist, a lender, a 401k specialist, and a valuation specialist. And we're going to leave it open that there are more people that you might want to consider chatting with as well. So let me talk to you first about an attorney for you. If you are dealing with a broker or you're dealing with a business seller, they might have an attorney involved for them. You also should have somebody that can help you through the process. If you're dealing with a business and you made an offer, sometimes there's an escrow account and there is a closing attorney who works a lot like a title company when buying or selling a house. They are usually independent, not for you, not for the other party as well. So it's good advice. A couple things I recommend regarding attorneys in particular. Number one, make sure you're dealing with an attorney that has lots of experience regarding the transition of business ownership. You do not need big M&A advisors that are writing up these really lengthy, long, expensive clauses, but usually somebody who's helping with businesses that are under the $5 million range can do a lot of work. Again, you can go to the Business Transition Council. You can go to the Business Brokers of Florida. You can find some affiliates of people who are very familiar with that process. If you're in a different state, which we help people in other states all over the country, there are people around. Make sure that they understand the process. Whatever you do, do not use just a friend or somebody that you helped you in the past or helped your mom and dad through another situation if it wasn't through business owner transition. I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they're your cousin. I don't care if their name is Vinny. Use a specialist. The other thing I would advise is I've seen occasionally people turn the whole negotiation over to their attorney, and that can sometimes turn into something where the attorney wins because they're making money and they're out there protecting and defending you all the way, but it turns into a lose-lose if you and the seller can't agree because it's too far stretched in one direction. Remember, it's got to be a win-win, so I advise the individuals involved to be out there negotiating the terms, but then going back to your attorney and saying, okay, how should I deal with this? How can I protect myself? How can I minimize my risk, etc., regarding that as well? Okay? You're going to get a purchase contract, and before you even sign that contract, you should be chatting with an attorney to say, hey, okay, how does this look, etc. But even after you sign a contract, every contract should have a window of time where you can go back to the attorney and make sure things are right and viable and legal and set up in the right possible way. Okay? Having a good accountant is also essential. Somebody can help look through the financials when you're doing the due diligence, as well as having somebody that you can rely on after you take over the business is going to be important. Remember, accountants get really busy between February, March, and April, and if you're going to need them for your due diligence process, have a conversation with them so that you can find out how and if and et cetera they're going to be able to help you out. Again, make sure it's somebody that deals with business and business ownership transition in particular would be great, as opposed to somebody that does personal financial taxes. Okay? Another individual is a business transition advisor, a business broker, etc. If a business is listed for sale and a broker is involved, find out if that broker is going to be able to talk with you and the seller in an equal and fair manner. Several states have a requirement of a real estate license, 17 of them that I know of, and the other 33 I think do not require that, but understand the laws governing those states regarding if it's a real estate driven relationship and how that works, or in states where that doesn't exist. Again, are you being represented? Are you being treated? Are you being balanced out? Once you've signed a non-disclosure agreement for a business listing, sometimes you're kind of obligated or on the hook. Read through those documents, read them out loud, know exactly what you're signing. Again, if you're confused, concerned, or worried, this is a good time to maybe sit with an attorney and say, what am I doing here? I'm a little concerned with what I'm signing, because once you've signed it, you put your name to some documents that you're going to have some obligations along with that. Just be wary of it. They're normal and they're essential, but make sure you understand what you're getting into. One of the people that are generally overlooked are lease specialists. Just because a landlord says, okay, we like you, we're going to give you a lease, you might be excited and saying, hurrah, I've been approved. If you take it to an attorney, they might look at it and say, well, this looks very legal and well in shape, etc. Quite often, leases are legal, but if you go to a lease specialist, and there are people out there, you type in lease coaches or lease advisors, etc., you might find some people that could negotiate some of the terms to protect you well. There are people that have been working on the dark side, as I call it, for years and years with big lease firms. They can come back and say, okay, let me help you out with this, that, and the other. Believe me, for the fee out there, quite often they give a lot of value, and it would be worth at least reaching out and looking into that. A lender, getting yourself pre-qualified, or at least having an initial conversation with a SBA lender or a lender otherwise. SBA is one of the best ways to go, will be entirely valuable. You might need to reframe, correct, clean up a few things in your background. You might have a better understanding of what's going to be involved. You might have a reality conversation about whether your house will have to be collateral or not, etc. But having these conversations up front is far better than getting in the middle of the deal and suddenly realizing that you haven't got the right lender in line. Regarding down payment, there are individuals that can help you reframe some of the money that you have in your 401k or your IRA so that you can use that money as down payment. Usually they do something like creating a C corporation versus you pulling the money out completely and having then pay penalties and taxes right away. So understanding that process is important. Again, there are a number of companies that can help you create that sort of deposit and incorporation, but it has to be done right. Don't just go pull your money out of your savings from an IRA or a 401. There's a lot of different laws and rules and guidelines involved that make this an important process. Another person is someone who can help you understand the value of your business. If you're going to go through an SBA program, you're probably going to get to a point, depending on the size of the business, the bank, and the terms, where they are going to send your business through a valuation specialist anyway. And I think in the long run, you end up paying for that no matter what, out of all the funds, closing fees, etc. On the other hand, it's useful to get somebody that can help you, whether it's you've retained the services of a business intermediary that's out there to help you through the process, or even one of these valuation specialists, or maybe even talking with your bank to say, does this even make sense on the type of price that I'm paying for the business? There is a difference between a value and the price of a business. You might offer one thing, the valuation might come out at a different number, but what's important is to make sure that you're not overpaying for a business and then having a cash flow challenge, or that you go through a lot of the work and then find out that it's going to be turned down immediately no matter what after the bank has looked at it. I've gone through this really quickly. I try to keep these things under 12 minutes, so realize that there are other people involved that can help you, including a business coach after you take over the business to help you succeed and keep them around for a full year, etc. This is Brian Stevens with the Thinking Outside the Boss series. My company is called Legacy Venture Group, and here's our contact information. We'd love to hear from you. You can find more information about us and this process at our website at BuyBizUSA.com, or call us on the phone at the 833-289-2491. If you want a tip, that's 833, and then the spelling out the letters buy, biz, and then the number 1. Anyway, make great things happen, and make sure that you get the right advisors to help you through this complicated but worthwhile process. Good luck. Take care. Bye-bye.